Let us today talk about digoxin. So, digoxin is a cardiac glycoside drug which is used to increase the contractility of heart. So, we can say digoxin is a positive inotropic agent. It is used in failing hearts. In this video, we will discuss the mechanism of action, that is how the digoxin acts on the cardiac cells and it causes increased contraction. First, talk about a normal cardiac cell, how it functions during contraction and relaxation. So, as you can see, this is a normal cardiac cell. The green one is the sodium potassium ATPase, and the blue one is the sodium calcium exchanger. Everyone knows that in contraction and relaxation, the main ion playing an important role is calcium, and the sarcoplasmic reticulum present in the cardiac cells is very rich in calcium stores. Now let's see how the ions move through these channels. Sodium potassium ATPase, it throws out 3 sodium ions outside the cell and it brings 2 potassium ions inside the cell. And sodium calcium exchanger, it gives out calcium in exchange for 3 sodium ions. So you can relate the movements of these two channels. We can say that the calcium present in the cardiac cell will move out and this will cause sodium to move in. This sodium which was brought in will be moved out by the sodium potassium pump, where two potassium ions will enter the cell. And as I said earlier, that sarcoplasmic reticulum is a very rich source for calcium. Now let us discuss some additional channels that are present in a cardiac myocyte. Apart from sodium potassium ATPase and sodium calcium exchanger, there is L-type calcium channels, that is voltage gated L-type calcium channels, which allow the entry of calcium during depolarization. And also there is calcium ATPase, which helps in pumping out the calcium. Let's see their movements. So L-type calcium channels help in taking in calcium, and calcium ATPase helps in throwing out calcium for 2 hydrogen ions coming in. Now there are also 2 specific channels present on the sarcoplasmic reticulum of a cardiac myocyte. These are ryanodine receptor calcium channel 2, in short we can say RYR2, and SERCA2. Now these channels work in opposite way. Let's see how they work. Ryanodine receptor calcium channel 2 allows the calcium stored in the sarcoplasmic reticulum to move out, and SERCA helps in taking calcium from the cytosol inside the sarcoplasmic reticulum. So we can say SERCA helps in increasing the calcium stores in the sarcoplasmic reticulum, and ryanodine receptor helps in taking out the calcium from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Apart from the calcium movements occurring across the membrane and even across the sarcoplasmic reticulum, there is always some amount of calcium present in the cytosol. This calcium contributes to the cytosolic calcium pool here. Now let's discuss about the calcium movements, where we relate these channels with each other. Now we can say that basically there is actually only one way through which calcium enters the cell, and that is through L-type calcium channels. That is, during depolarization, the calcium ions from the outside of the cell move inside the cell. This contributes to the cytosolic calcium, and there are only two ways through which calcium moves outside the cell. One is through calcium ATPase, where calcium is thrown out for 2 hydrogen ions, as we have seen earlier, and the next one is it occurs in exchange for sodium ions, that is through sodium calcium exchanger, where it throws out calcium and takes in sodium. So for summing it up, we can say there is only one way through which calcium enters the cell, that is through L-type calcium channels, and 2 ways through which calcium moves outside the cell. One is calcium ATPase and one is sodium calcium exchanger. Now let's learn how a cardiac myocyte undergoes contraction. So as we know, these channels will be working in their normal ways, that is sodium potassium ATPase and sodium calcium exchanger. Now, what happens is that calcium enters during the depolarization phase through the L channels inside the cell, and some calcium which enters contributes to the cytosolic calcium pool, whereas some calcium goes and triggers the ryanodine receptor calcium channels present on the sarcoplasmic reticulum to cause release of calcium from the sarcoplasmic reticulum to the cytosol. So we can see that calcium stores that are present in the sarcoplasmic reticulum will start depleting and the calcium levels in the cytosol will start increasing. Now this increase in calcium will contribute to binding of calcium to the troponin C molecule. The binding of calcium and troponin C will set in contraction. So this is how contraction occurs. After contraction comes the relaxation. So now the cell is undergoing relaxation and the calcium that was earlier bound to troponin C will be removed. This will result in again an increase in the calcium levels in the cytosol. You can see now the excess calcium that is present in the cytosol needs to be reduced, so the calcium present here will move inside the sarcoplasmic reticulum via Surca and levels of calcium will rise again in the reticulum. Also, two other ways how calcium moves outside the cell as we have discussed it. We know that it will move out through sodium calcium exchanger and through calcium ATPase, but the movement of calcium through calcium ATPase is not really that significant. So, two major ways how cytosolic calcium levels will come back to normal is that one they move in the reticulum via Surca and the other is that they move out through sodium calcium exchanger, as we can see here. Now, this is how a normal cardiac myocyte functions, how relaxation and contraction occurs. Before going into the mechanism of digoxin, you really need to be clear with how this normal cell works.